net traps. They're in practically every movie you've ever watched when anyone ever got caught. But do they actually work? Let's find out. So I want to find out if these traps are actually practical. So we're out here in the woods looking for a place. We're going to set one of these traps and try to catch a coon in one. So I think we've got a good spot for our net trap here. There's a creek flowing right here. There's coon tracks all along the creek right here. And so they ought to be just walking up and down. And then there's a sapling right here. Got a pretty good little clearing right here. It's kind of in a little bit of a depression, some brush on this side, some trees on this side. And so it'll help to guide the animal into here right in the middle of our trap. So I'll go ahead and start clearing this stuff out, and then I'll cut the components for the trap and start making that stuff. I've got some paracord and then my little saw. It's going to make it a little easier. Some of this brush that I'm cutting out I'll use as kind of guides to get the coon to come in the way that I want him to. So this little sapling, there's no way to get it down without climbing up the thing and riding it down. And I haven't done this since I was a kid, so we're gonna give it a try. And this thing is soaking wet. The trick is to get it going the right way. Okay then, so that's how you do that. Okay. So we're kind of in a swampy, kind of wet area, and it rained a lot last night. So most of the ground is pretty soft and muddy. So I need a pretty long stake to go in there to act as part of our trigger, because most of the pressure is going to be on this thing pulling straight up. So it just needs some, a lot of friction to hold it in there. And the other thing I'm going to do is just put a little grip on it, and when these pull back up, they're just going to flare out, help hold this stake in there. we can get this back down here. There we go. There we don't go. Well, that did not work out the way I wanted it to. So this tree that I used is a bay tree, and bay trees are not known for their tensile strength, so obviously you can see that. So now we gotta find a different tree. Okay, back to square one. So there's another tree behind me, and it's a gum, a black gum. And there's a fork up at the top of it. I think maybe I can toss this up there and get it caught in that fork and pull the tree down. Let's cross my fingers. Oh! No! You're supposed to go through the fork. You like those sound effects? That's what sticks do in the movies. Oh! Yes! That was much easier. The other tree didn't have a fork though. Okay. All right, so we should be able to set this thing in the trigger, hopefully now. Okay, so the trigger mechanism is pretty much done. Now we just need to lay our net and attach it to our power pole here. And then I'll spring it and show you guys how it works one time before we actually set it for real. I'm just going to weave this kind of back and forth through here so that as it comes up, it acts like a drawstring and closes the top of this net. All right, so our bait stick is set up in such a way that as the coon comes along and is rummaging around just trying to get all of the bait out of the leaves and stuff that we're gonna put on here, he's gonna disturb that bait stick, knock one of the ends out of the little 7 notches, and then we miss him like that. Okay, let's try that again. All right, one more time. So I've added another string right here to help close that drawstring in a little bit. There was a big gap in one side of it, so just added another one. The more strings you have, the tighter that the top of that bag's gonna be. So we'll give it a try. So part of my bag is hanging out of this thing and I'm not real happy with that. Have it more bagged out before it ever even springs, and we'll see. So there's a lot of net and trap exposed here, but good thing about coons is they're not typically very trap shy, at least the ones that haven't been trapped very much before. So I think this will be okay if it works. Let's throw the dummy in there and see what happens. That's what I'm talking about. All right, I like it. So we're gonna go ahead and I'll put this trap net back out, and then I'll come back this evening and bait it up. I don't really want him coming in from that side, from the sides here, so we'll just brush that in. Just putting a little brush around the edges here just to kind of guide the critter in from the ends. All right, trap set. I've got where they can come in from this way, come in from that way, and then I'm gonna put the bait right on this stick here. So our net trap is set. I've got a trail camera right here, which is kind of works part of the time. And so to hopefully try to mitigate that, I've got 2 GoPros going, and I've got a light hanging from the tree because the GoPros are just not very good at night. Coon's probably gonna come early in the wee hours of the morning, and the GoPros are gonna be dead by that time, but might get lucky and have them come right after sunset, which is happening right now. So we're gonna get out of here and cross your fingers and see what happens. So he doesn't seem to be too perturbed. He's just trying to find a way to get out of this net. He's not growling or upset or anything. And from the best I can estimate, looking at the timestamps on this footage, it takes him 2 minutes to get out of this net from the time it goes off until the time that he's just not in the net anymore. Now, if we had had a camp set up nearby where we could have gotten up and gotten over here to the net, we could have got this coon no problem. But other critters like pigs, deer, rabbits, things that don't climb for a living like coons and squirrels do, I think they would have still been in the trap the next morning. All right, so even though we didn't actually get our hands on the coon, we did capture him and he was in the net for a little while. And had we been nearby, we could have gotten here and closed the top of the net so he couldn't climb out. Now, is this type of a net setup practical? I would say that if I were doing this for real and I needed to capture a live animal, I would probably do things a little bit differently. But just to test out this theory of the net lying flat on the ground and, you know, the way we see it in the movies, I wanted to come out here and try this. And I did learn that I would probably not do that in a real world situation. There's just better ways to catch animals. So I think I'm going to try this again in a different location and see if we can't get this net trap to work and just kind of get these small little details figured out that make all the difference. So we'll see y'all on the next one.